Out west, we had UNLV pushing Boise State all year long. They played a couple of really close games against the Broncos, especially that one in Vegas
Mm-hmm.
in mid-October. That one was a really fun game on a Friday night that we got to have a national TV audience for. But UNLV, obviously, Haj Malik Williams replaced Matthew Sluka 3 weeks in. There was that whole drama with him accusing them of not having the NIL money that he was promised, yada, yada, yada. Haj Malik Williams takes over. The offense finds a completely new gear. And he led UNLV almost to a conference championship and almost to potentially a playoff berth if they could have found a way to knock off Boise State there at the end of the year. But a lot of turnover. Obviously, they lose their head coach as well. Haj Malik Williams graduated, and Barry Odom is off to coach elsewhere. So, how does a program like UNLV? They're not a known power at the G5, right? Like Barry Odom comes in, orchestrates this massive turnaround, but now they have to find a way to find staying power. What would you do if you're a UNLV? What are you outside of trying to nail the next head coaching hire? What are you doing as a UNLV athletic director, booster person to really make sure that you have staying power at that level and you don't fall off back to where you were?
Well, first off, they did a good job. They brought in Dan Mullen, so that's going to be exciting for them to get a guy who's had experience at a big program. Obviously, didn't really work out at Florida. Did really well for himself in Mississippi State, though. Like he has run bigger programs in bigger conferences and done well with it. So I think that that's an exciting moment for them to say, like, hey, like I know it didn't work out at your last stop, but here you are. Give us a however many years it is that you have, maybe before he makes another jump, but at least you stabilize the program after losing a guy like Barry Odom. And then, yeah, I think it's just sell the fact that you are the Vegas team, right? It's kind of fun. You can kind of say like, hey, we're Vegas. The stadium we play in is cool. Like we're not some like smaller type school. We get some built-in advantages being in Vegas. So I think that's kind of a fun way to sort of pivot that direction. And yeah, just try to do everything you can to win in the NIL space, get the guys that you can. It's all that it takes to build a program now in modern college football also applies to the G5 guys. They just have to be really good at their scouting. They just really have to nail the picks. They can't afford to go out and say, well, we're going to go grab 20 guys in the transfer portal that are all, highly touted. And if like 5 of them or 10 of them don't work out, like it's going to be a worse season than we thought, but it's okay, right? They have to nail the picks that they make. And so if they're able to nail those picks, and a guy like Dan Mullen certainly knows what talent looks like, they can have a little bit of staying power. They could definitely make it in this new era. Again, the one thing that set them apart last year is the fact they couldn't get over the Boise hurdle. No Ashton Genty might make it a little bit easier for them to get over that hurdle. So, again, I'm not necessarily going to pick them to win sitting here at the beginning of March, but I think it's a conversation to have and certainly something to monitor as we go forward.
I always have thought that UNLV was kind of a sleeping, not, I hate to use the term sleeping giant. That's so overused and it's kind of weird to say at the G5 level, but I always thought that they could be better than they were. You saw Nevada have some success about 10, 15 years ago when they were running that pistol with Colin Kaepernick, right?
Yep.
You saw, obviously, UNLV has pulled themselves up over the last couple of years, but there's a ton of talent in Arizona and Nevada and Southern California that they can't all go to the big schools down there. They can't all get exported to the SEC or the Big Ten, but there's plenty of leftover talent where they can fill out a roster that's really competitive. And yeah, take your pick from the transfer portal and
Yeah.
recruit off of
And
Vegas and living in a really fun city.
well, and the weird thing too is, so I was looking at this to make sure I remembered it correctly. So Barry Odom went to Purdue. I don't know that
Yeah.
that's a better move. I know it's a bigger school. I know that there's probably more funding, whatever it is, but I don't know that that's a better move in this moment in college football. You have, I think, a better path to a playoff at UNLV than you do at Purdue, because I think that with Purdue, obviously you have to get over the hump of all of the teams in the Big Ten, and it's going to be hard to wiggle your way into the playoff from there. if you're Barry Odom and you get a chance to go back to UNLV and maybe keep some players with you, build off of something, pitch something to guys in the portal, whatever it is, you have a chance to go be that top G5 school, make your way into the playoff. That's not nothing. I think that's something you got to consider. So, I mean, good for him. He gets a job that he wants. But I think I'd rather be Dan Mullen right now than Barry Odom. I'd much rather be in a spot where I think I can win and maybe have a chance to make a run at a playoff.
No offense to the good folks of West Lafayette, Indiana, but yeah, I think I'd rather
or the
live in
folks
Las
of
Vegas.
Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah, or Lafayette, Louisiana. Just kind of rolled off the tongue there, but
On the western side of the city. None to y'all at all. Maybe the east
I-10,
side, but not west side.
I-10 goes both ways, and there's a long bridge down there too.
Gracious him! How about that?